Good afternoon, team. Kevin Poole here, your friendly neighborhood garrison commander for Grafenwoehr, Vilseck, Hohenfels, and Garmisch. Hey, team, I got a very special guest with us, our very own USAG-Bavaria commander, Colonel Zach Solomon, coming to us direct from Fort Knox, where he was at Human Resources Command. He's our senior guy for all things medical activities Bavaria. Zach, it's great to have you here. Welcome to Bavaria. How you getting settled in?
Things are going very well.
Awesome. Well, sir, it is great to have you here, and thank you for your leadership already. The lines of communication between us, it has been wonderful, and I appreciate everything that you've done. But it's an exciting time here in Bavaria, in Medical Activity-Bavaria, because we got a lot going on, particularly with respect to our transition to MHS Genesis, which stands for Medical Health System Genesis. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Sure. So MHS Genesis is replacing our existing outpatient and inpatient records. It is transformative across all of the military community medical systems. So some of the great benefits is it's a lifetime record, which means when you go to basic training, it follows you throughout your entire career. It follows you into the VA and beyond. If you're a military brat, it follows you from birth until you enlist through the VA. So it's a lifetime record.
No way.
Yes.
So a military child now that gets enrolled in MHS Genesis, a baby, newborn.
Yes.
When that child grows up and turns 18 and joins the Army, and she becomes an infantry person, her whole medical record is going to follow her into active duty.
It is a lifetime record.
Wow. I didn't know that.
The VA. So in the past, it's been a big issue where you have your military record, then you have your retirement record with the VA. Now it's seamless. Now VA is still rolling it out. DHA is still rolling out MHS Genesis. There's one more wave. I thought we were the last wave. Mm-hmm. We aren't. They have to go to Asia in October. So it's almost done. They'll finish up with the VA, and then it'll be seamless lifetime record. The other thing is integrated. So in the past, I've been in a long time, 25 years. When I came in, we did paper records. And we used a DOS system called CHCS to do our billing. Then when I was in Hawaii, we went to Alta, went to electronic health record, but we still had 2 outpatient systems. We had an inpatient system. We had a dental system. Now it's all integrated into one, and it communicates seamlessly among those. The other thing we have is a health information exchange. So it's always been a problem communicating with civilian hospitals. You'd have to use the fax machine, records would get lost.
Hold on, did you say fax?
Fax.
Hey, so for all of my folks under 30, a fax machine is something that you could take a physical document and it would scan it and then it mails it somewhere else. So for us old people know what fax machines are.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And they're still used today. Now, as they roll out this record, it communicates with civilian healthcare facilities. So they'll be able to see our records, we'll be able to see their records. There won't be this gap in communication. So right now, you go see the doctor, they send you to orthopedics, you have to wait, 6 weeks for them to mail it.
Right.
In the future, it'll be seamless
and
communication. And all connected.
Now see, I really appreciate you bringing that up because I'm thinking in my mind, for like this, just a normal user, it's like, hey, this is just a new virtual appointment system. Well, this is like what you're describing to me is transformational, and it, if what you're describing comes to fruition, when what you're describing comes to fruition, it is going to make healthcare in the military so much more, efficient and better. No, that's awesome.
That's right.
Keep going.
It's a commercial system, right? So U.S. medical system innovation is being pushed into this thing. It's just not military centric.
Right.
But we are different than the civilian healthcare sector, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of those differences that we have is mass readiness. So you've gone through many flu drives,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, MHS Genesis allows us to do mass vaccinations where we can do it quick. In the past, yeah, you may have gone through it quick, but those healthcare providers are going back, hand jamming in the system. It can take several weeks to enter it all.
Right.
Now, with mass readiness, it's much faster, and that will get them back in the clinic faster in order to take care of our beneficiaries.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. The other one is enterprise standard workflows. Okay, so when you go to the emergency department at Madigan,
Mm-hmm.
the experience is going to be the same as going to the emergency department at Tripler. So it's standard processes, looking at best practices, and spreading that across all three services. Maybe Air Force, Army facilities will look the same and have the same processes. But there's a downside, and that is the launch of MHS Genesis.
Right, that's it.
As everyone in the
You're
community,
answering all the questions I had teed up for me.
as the community knows, and hopefully as they've heard about over the past summer, there are challenges.
Okay.
And I will say, my background, I've been in 25 years. I'm a physical therapist, but I also was a commander at Presidio Monroe in California.
That's a tough assignment.
It's a tough
I
assignment.
don't know how you got through that.
Yeah, I got Europe, I got Monterey, but I've been to Fort Sill and Fort Riley.
Okay,
as well.
all right, so that makes up for it.
I balanced it out. But I tell you, I walked into my first meeting in Monterey, and they said MHS Genesis, and I said, what is that? All right. They said, oh, it's a record you're launching in 2 months. So we spun it up. We got it launched. We were wave 1 in 2019. We were ready, but I tell you, it was a heavy lift. All right? Wave 1, we were the ones learning a lot of the lessons that we now take for granted 4 years later.
Right.
We had systems issues. The first 2 weeks were tough. But within 8 weeks, it was business as usual.
Right.
Right? Our clinics, depending on which clinic it was, it usually took about 6 to 10 weeks to get back up to normal.
During the MHS Genesis.
During the transition. I'm using that experience here.
Okay.
And I tell you, I've warned my staff a lot from my experience. This launch this week has gone so much smoother than it did 4 years ago. The staff is learning very quickly. We have staff that have come from sites that have already worked with MHS Genesis. So they're able to help each other. I think our recovery is going to go pretty quick. I've told them about 8 weeks, I think you'll be good, but some of them will be much faster than that, particularly if they've already worked with the system.
So in the 8 weeks while we are undergoing this transition, what can we expect insofar as delays in healthcare?
Yes. So setting expectations, I ask the community to be patient.
Yeah.
There will be delays at the front counter at check-in, and part of those delays are our front desk staff learning how to operate with the system. The other one is if our beneficiaries are not yet registered, they're going to have to take the extra step to get registered. So there will be some delays at the front desk. In the pharmacy, there'll be some delays, right? Your past prescriptions are going to have to be carried over into MHS Genesis, so that'll take some time. So it's really on the patient level, things are going to take a little bit longer. For instance, in the dental clinic, they're not just going to jump in and do a procedure because you said last time you were here you're going to do a root canal. They're going to have to pull in what's called the joint legacy viewer, review the notes, and then do the procedure. So there will be a few more steps that need to be taken. So we ask patience. There are some things that we can do. as patients. I'm a patient. There's some things I need to do. One of the things is get registered. Also, enroll into the portal, MHS Genesis portal for online. That is going to be a game changer as well. A lot of people are familiar with Tricare Online.
Mm-hmm.
Where you go in, you have some records, and you're able to make appointments. Well, with MHS Genesis, the communication with the providers is going to be much more seamless. Patients can upload files, they can upload videos, they can upload pictures, so it's going to be much more interactive with the providers and the nurses in the future. So those are just a few things that are going to be very positive in a couple of months, but right now we're working through those workflows and getting spun up.
But I think everything that you've described with respect to friction during this transition period, I think that's reasonable. I mean,
Yes.
the front counter employees at the point of customer service, having to get used to the system, probably an additional 5 to 10 minutes from a patient standpoint of, signing up for the system, filling out some extra forms. I think that's definitely worth, once we get to our ultimate objective. I think that's reasonable.
Yes, and it's, right now we've had to cut workload, number of appointments.
Mm-hmm.
We'll slowly add in.
Yeah.
We're not going to go, at this decremented workload and then in 2 months all of a sudden open it up.
Right.
So we will transition and slowly add those appointments onto the schedule as we go. So
what I'm hearing you say is the availability of appointments that won't necessarily return to the precise normal that it was before. Right at 8 weeks, it might take a couple of weeks after that to slowly increase.
Well, I'm saying at 8 weeks I want it at 100, but I'm talking next week.
Oh, next week we're going to slowly start adding. Okay, good.
Yes.
Good.
Now it depends on the clinic, right, and the provider. Some providers may not know, the computer systems as well as others.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So they may be paced a little differently, but next week access will begin to improve.
Okay.
And then peak where we're back up at full operational capacity in 8 weeks or so.
Wow, this is exciting. This is like the way you just laid this out to me, and some of the things I didn't understand prior to our conversation.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to make healthcare really efficient, and it's an exciting time for me. Now, let me ask you this question, because I'm thinking, me personally, so I had when we first came into the Army, back in 2002, I had a knee surgery at Fort Moore, and I never, that knee surgery never got added to my records, but I know it's, some papers are sitting in a vault somewhere at Martin Army Community Hospital. Are they uploading all of those files into MHS Genesis, and will I eventually see that, or am I going to have to go back after the fact? And
I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
Because there's Alta, there's MHS Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
To view past files, there's the Joint Legacy Viewer that we can view past records.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, not all the records are necessarily going to be uploaded in Genesis, but they will be still in the legacy system to be viewed.
Okay.
Now, Tricare Online, right? Have you ever tried to view your records in Tricare Online? They're on there.
They're on there. Let me try. I'm gonna
Maybe not
through
20 years ago, but they're on there. They have millions of records to transfer over to the MHS Genesis portal, but they will eventually populate within the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, as of Monday, those records will be, if you've seen Monday and beyond, those records will automatically be in the portal. You can go in. I tested this out before coming here because I didn't want to say anything that wasn't true. I went into Tricare Online and MHS Genesis. I pulled up Tricare Online. My records were in there all the way up until Ireland Army Community Hospital transferred in June. I went into MHS Genesis. The labs I just took before I left are in there. The records are in there. But I can also see the records starting to come in from last decade. So it is starting to transfer over.
Slowly populating.
I just want to remind everyone, if you don't see it in MHS Genesis, look in Tricare Online while that's still available.
Mhm.
And it will tell you the sunset of Tricare Online. Basically, when they're done transferring, that will go away, and then they'll just have that one system. Along with that, you'll, not yet, but you'll be able to schedule appointments again through MHS Genesis portal. We have it turned off right now because we're in the crawl phase. When we start to walk and run, we'll slowly open up those new systems.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 6 months from now, I could very well be making appointments online through MHS Genesis. Business as usual.
It's possible in a couple weeks
Okay.
that you'll be able to make those appointments. We just need to make sure we have our call center, our walk-ins down before we start opening up another one. But that should be a couple weeks to maybe a couple months, depending on when that.
So as I'm thinking through this, because human beings aren't perfect, nothing is perfect. So, whenever I decide to leave the military, when I retire, I got to go through all my VA stuff. I think, and this is what I would communicate to any soldier that I interact with or mentor, it's always a good thing, because no system or no human being is perfect, to go through your records and reconcile what you're seeing in MHS Genesis to ensure there isn't anything that's missing. Like my knee surgery I had back in 2002 might not necessarily populate. I might have to do the extra legwork to reach back, call back to Fort Moore, to Martin Army Community Hospital. Hey, I need my medical record, my records of my surgery aren't in here. Can you please, either add it or, fax me the documentation. That way I can physically. In other words, there's some onus on patients and users to be able to make sure everything is where it needs to be.
Yeah. It is possible that your surgery many years ago has been scanned into the legacy record.
Right.
Right. But you do want to make sure, if you had a surgery 15 years ago, that is in the system. If not, bring it up to medical records and they need to track that down.
Absolutely.
Yes. And you can have medical records print off your record as well. But again, with Tricare Online and MHS Genesis portal, you can view a lot of that from your living room.
Awesome. This is awesome. Zach, thank you so much for doing this, taking the time out. You got your busy schedule. I know you and your team have a lot going on, and you all are working really hard, and I appreciate everything you do for the community. And I look forward to the next couple of weeks once we start to slowly transition back to normal and having a that much more efficient healthcare system. Again, thank you so much for being here. Look forward to seeing you out and about taking care of our community. Folks, MHS Genesis is here. Be patient, and we're going to make this happen. It's going to be much more efficient. It's going to be a great thing. Thank you all for your attention. Until I see you all again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Do the right thing, and remember that life is better in Bavaria.